Hello everyone, it's Helena Bird, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 9 reasons to start a mark making practice. Preferably every day, but if you can't manage that, as often as you can. The first reason to turn to mark making is that it can be done with any supplies you have in your toolbox. Here I'm working in a homemade journal. I wouldn't even quite call it a journal, it's just some pieces of paper tied to a piece of card. And I've got some paints that I'd like to use because I find painting very relaxing. If you've got a piece of paper and a pen, a pencil crayon, a standard pencil, a regular biro pen, anything, you can start mark making. Reason number 2. It's so quick, or should I say it can be as quick as you want it to be. You can spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long you want. But if you need something quick, it can be quick. And because of that, it provides easy access to daily expression, or at least very regular expression if you can't manage daily. Often when we start a project, in inverted commas, it doesn't wrap up very quickly. We can be at it for days, weeks, maybe even months. And sometimes that's the reason they don't get finished. There's simply not enough time in our day to do it all. But to finish a page of mark making can feel incredibly empowering because it has that sense of accomplishment and you know you've done something positive towards your art. Reason number 3. It teaches you about which shapes and which colours complement each other in a low pressure environment. Not everything that I'm doing on this page might work out. I actually do like the way this page ends up looking, but it's not a given. But even if it ends up being not to my taste, I've learnt something and there's no pressure because this is not some big project. It's just a little scrapbook where I'm making some marks and learning about colour and learning about shape. All of this information is ultimately going to feed into my bigger projects. So it's a great space for experimenting and finding out what works for me. Reason number 4. Doing mark making makes you a more observant artist. While in the beginning you'll be happy to lean into all the familiar shapes and lines that you prefer, over time you'll probably want to mix things up. So you become more observant about the world around you, going on the hunt for new shapes, and probably new colour palettes also. I talk about both of these things in the free art course available via the link below. So if you want to explore shape hunting and colour hunting in more detail, click the link and sign up for the free course to get all of the details. Reason number 5. Completing some art making on a regular basis trains your muscles when it comes to precision. If you asked me, can I draw a straight line? I would say no. And yet on this page, I've practiced doing that several times over. And in many cases, I've got it, inverted commas, right. My line is pretty straight. And that has come from doing mark making on a regular basis and training my muscles. What does this mean? When I do bigger art projects, I'm happier with the shapes that I make naturally on the page because I've trained my muscles and I know exactly how to hold my pen and where to position my arm when I'm making particular shapes on the page. This kind of information can be invaluable and can stop a lot of heartache when it comes to bigger projects. Reason number 6. Completing a regular page of mark making makes breaking the page less daunting, regardless of what you're doing. You just get used to starting and putting something down and not worrying too much about what that something is, knowing that you can add to it or cover it over as you see fit later in the project. I have found since I started this practice that any blank page isn't as daunting as it used to be, even if it's in a nice journal or sketchbook. There is something to be said for just getting used to starting and not worrying and not overthinking. And that is what this practice has shown me. Reason number 7. Regular mark making builds your confidence with your tools and also builds your confidence in your personal expression. Because over time you will learn which shapes and which colours speak to you, you'll end up creating things that you like on a more regular basis, and this in turn will build your confidence. At least that is what has happened for me. Reason number 8. It's not just your art that can improve by mark making. It's a very mindful activity and can make you a more mindful person when it comes to creating. It can help you get into that flow state a lot quicker, even if you just do a page of mark making before you embark on a bigger project that day. Whilst you're paying close attention to putting dots and lines and squiggles on the page, trying to get them looking as pleasing as you can, you are not thinking about news headlines, and you are not thinking about the 1,000,001 things you probably have to do, and you are not thinking about stressful situations in your life. You are focused on the task at hand because it is what we call an immersive task. It completely immerses you in the process. And in doing so, it frees you from negative thoughts. Surely that's a handy thing for almost everybody in the modern world. And reason number 9. Mark making has been very helpful for me in learning how to work through things on the page that I don't like. So perhaps I put something down and think, oh, that was a mistake. I then mark make over it with some different colours or some different shapes in order to disguise the thing that I'm less keen on. And once it's pushed back, I often find that I don't mind it so much after all. A good example in this piece was when I went around the pink lines with black pen. It turned out that was just too much. I didn't want all that black on the page, so I went over it with my pink Posca pen and pushed the colour back. The results were much better to my eye, much more pleasing, much closer to what I'd originally hoped for. Not only do you learn how to work through problems or things that you don't like in a no-pressure space, you also get to accept imperfections a lot more. Not every single mark that I have made on this page is perfect, and that is something that contributes, I think, to the raw energy of it. If you'd asked me about this a few months back, I would have told you that I'd just done it wrong. And now when I look at it, I see it as part of the energy of the piece and part of my own individual imprint on that work. Nobody has drawn those shapes as I would. Perhaps they would have been more precise, but it wouldn't have been mine. I hope that these reasons have inspired you to start your own mark making practice. Look at that jumble of shapes on the page. You don't need any design before you start. Just grab a pen and see what happens. I hope this video has been inspiring. There'll be another one along soon. Until then, take care, and I'll see you next time.